I was on Dublin bus. I went back down to the back of the bus, and there was this owl lad down there, and he was drinking a can of Harp. Now, if you don't know Harp, it's that kind of like liquidized depression. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would describe it. And I made the big mistake of making eye contact with him, right? And he just shook the can of Harp at me. He said, "Would you like a drop of Harp?" And I said, "Fuck it, yeah, go on, you know." I was like, I'd forgotten my earphones, you know what I mean? I was like, this fucker can beat today's podcast, you know? So anyway, I sat down beside him, and I immediately learned some very interesting things about him, right? Like, for one thing, this was not his first time drinking Harp. And I know that because he told me. He said, "I've been drinking Harp for 30 years. Am I right or am I wrong?" I was like, you fucking look right, you know? You look like you've been playing a harp with your face for the last 30 years, to be honest, you know? You do not look well, my friend, you know? And he said, yeah. He said, "You're a good young fella. Am I right or am I wrong?" I said, "By God, he's right again, you know? I said, "That's 2 out of 2. I started to think, has he ever been wrong, you know? And then next he said, listen, "I have to tell you something. And this said, I was like, oh, Jesus, don't tell me he's my real father, you know? That'd be a nightmare, you know? I said, "What is it?" Right? And he said, "Oi, I'm a member of the IRA. And I didn't know what to fucking say. So I just panicked and went, "Nice," right? And then he just goes, "Nice, yeah." But then that gave him like confidence, and he just said, "Hey, would you maybe want to be a member of the IRA?" And again, I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, go on," you know, like, I'm not doing nothing else today. Let's unite the fucking country, you know? And that was it. I was in the IRA, you know? And I have to say that being in the IRA, it felt very, very similar to not being in the IRA, you know? Almost identical, I would say, you know? But it was fucking exciting, though, because it turned out, get this, that my first mission as a member of the IRA was to give this lad money for more cans of Harp. That was my first. He said, "You're gonna donate to the cause. Am I right or am I wrong?" I said, "First one you've got wrong all day, you cunt." He's human after all, I said, you know.
My name's Vittorio Angelone. And that's not how you're supposed to say that. It shouldn't be in a Belfast accent. There's no one in Naples going, "Vittorio Angelone." That's not right. But I can't say it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I physically can, but it would be fucking stupid if I came on stage and was like, "What's the crack? How's it going? My name is Vittorio Angelone." It's like, and my hand just does that for some reason. I can't stop that from happening. It sounds like a fucking Dolmio ad. It's fun being called Vittorio Angelone doing stand-up. There's often a compere at comedy clubs, and they welcome all the acts to the stage. And I do that job quite a lot. And I always take extra special care to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correctly. I think that's the kind thing to do. I'm not afforded the same kindness by my colleagues. They fuck it up so much that I've had to pre-record me welcoming me to the stage for the start of the show, because I don't trust anyone anymore. Welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. It's not that hard. One time a guy went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone." Which isn't right. It's not my favorite. One time a guy went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vincenzo Alabaluzzi." Which isn't a name in any language. I Googled it, there's no Alabaluzzis anywhere. But neither of those are my favorite. My favorite is a guy who brought me to the stage, tried to pronounce my name, and gave up in the middle. Because he went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Valentino." Which I thought was quite honest of him on some level. I kind of appreciated it.
You can give blood. That's a great way to help people with cancer. You've got to book an appointment. You can't just turn up with a bucket. Take the blood. We know you need it. This is what the sacrifice wanted. You can't do that. That's murder. I don't really like needles and shit, but it felt like the right thing to do. Now, the rules have changed, but at the time, they explained to me that if you're a gay man and you've had sex with another man in the last 3 months, then you can't give blood? Yeah. And this made me very angry, man. I was like, well, with regret, that means that I qualify to give blood because things aren't going well for me, honey. I can't lie. I'm having a dry spell. Very dry.
The thing, I'd ask you to think back 15 years. You're not all going to remember this, but particularly the Australians, I reckon you will. About 15 years ago, the Australian government were experiencing an issue with speeding on the nation's roads. Yeah. They decided to engage a television campaign to combat this very serious issue. Did they interview experts about speeding? Did they talk to victims? Did they talk about how easy it is to speed without realising you're doing it? No, they didn't take any of those approaches. Instead, the thrust of the campaign was that if you speed, you've got a small dick, fuck you. Do you remember this? It was just a bunch of women with their pinkies out being like, that's your penis. That's your penis, you idiot. You do a criminal act, you get a criminally small penis. We're the government, by the way. That's your dick. That's your stupid dick. I just remember being like 15 years old, watching that on TV at home, being like, that's actually pretty big.
I'll do a little impression of someone who, for anyone who's ever messed up at work. Yeah, we've all been there. Okay, this is a hitman who's turned up to do a hit, but they've forgotten to screw the silencer onto their gun. Oh, very relatable stuff. Tough job, very tough.
When we're alone, we become our truest self, right? For sure. Like we're all aware of each other's perception of us. We know that we're out and about, so we're all pretending to be normal, right? You don't need to admit it now. I know it's hard to admit it, but all of you sat there going, I'm normal, don't worry about me. I'm just a normal person. Yes, I'm just out and about in polite society, in company. Hello. Certainly never touched that. Never, wouldn't dream of it. No. I'm just normal. I'm just one of us. I'm normal. I'm not some sort of wanking, screaming, shitting monkey that's managed to put on some shoes, forget about death, and leave the house. That's not me at all. I belong.
Like those people who tell you horrible facts to try and cheer you up, as if that makes sense. You know? As in, like, you go, oh my God, look at all the flights are cancelled. My whole holiday's fucking ruined. I can't go. I can't make it. And they go, well, people are being murdered in Afghanistan, so... And you go, oh, now I am sad about 2 things. Thank you. I've never understood how that's supposed to make you feel better. But what fucking reaction do those people want from me? Oh, fuck, my holiday's ruined. Well, people are being murdered in Afghanistan. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Is that what you want, you sociopath? I mean, the worst of it was, I originally grew up, at least initially, in South Africa, so I didn't have this when I was a kid. But when I moved here, I discovered that all of you were being shamed into finishing your food using hypothetical African children. It's quite a creepy thing to discover, to be honest. I also don't know why they have to be African every time.
Give bisexuals a bad rap, but I truly believe that any interaction between 2 bisexual people is simultaneously the most innocent and chaste interaction and the most horny and depraved interaction, okay? The only way I can explain this to straight people is imagine running into a distant cousin at a wedding. It can truly go either way.
Scottish people have this strange ability. They can describe somebody as a homosexual by using any noun. All right, is that guy a bit of a blueberry? There's a set of maracas over there. English people can do it, but they can only use activities to describe somebody as gay. Be like, oh God, he's the kind of guy who likes to leave the windows open. Oh, Barry loves a fundraiser. Bet you wear your slippers round the house.
Oh, wow, what's that?
Oh, wow. Okay, honey, you go show Daddy. I'll be there in a minute. Aren't they amazing? They grow up so fast. But at her age, I wasn't expecting her to have hair all over her body. Then a friend of mine recommended that we stop giving her hair growth pills. It worked. As soon as we stopped the pills, the hair growth ceased. She became more confident, got accepted into an accelerated kinder program, graduated with a 5-point GPA, and now she's the global head of NASA. But she acts like a bit of a bitch. So we put her back on the hair growth pills. David's hair growth pills, not suitable for individual premium. Thank you.
And then there's the labels, and there's choosing an identity for your sexuality. I hadn't realised what a minefield it was out there. I hadn't realised how spicy and politicised it had all got. I hadn't realised how sensitive it all was. I hadn't realised the wars that were going on. I hadn't realised the thesis that they were behind every single one of these identities. Oh my God, I hadn't realised what I was getting myself into. Also, I hadn't realised how lucky I'd been up until this point to have previously been born into every label I'd ever had, like a beautiful comfy nest, never had to pick a new one. And when you're that adult, you know, you always think you already know who you are. It's really confusing. You don't know what to do. I fucked it up. I thought, well, I'll just try them on like clothes, see what I feel like suits me. That's a great way to do it. I made so many mistakes. Initially, I told everyone I was bisexual. Then I learned about pansexuality. Thought that much better describes me, but identified as pansexual on Radio 4's Now show, and Twitter lit up. And let me know that I had single-handedly erased bisexuality. I didn't know I could do that all by myself. I don't know if you've ever felt simultaneous sadness, shame, and incredible power.
Also, I think a little can go a long way. If you'll forgive a quick boast, I was referred to as suave on a date a few months ago. Here's what I'd done to earn what I would consider to be the pretty top-tier compliment of suave. I'd booked a table for dinner, and as we neared the end of dinner, I revealed to the person in question that if they wanted the evening to continue, I'd already provisionally booked a table at a cocktail bar just over the road from the restaurant. She said, wow, you've already booked the next place. That's pretty suave. I didn't want to throw it back in her face and go, yeah, if by suave you mean basic admin, then sure, Captain Suave's in town. I took about a minute out of my afternoon to identify and assess 2 adjacent locations. Just a little trick I've retained from my days in the Queen's Cavalry. Something that set me apart from the rest of the shit munchers bashing their way through the yellow pages with their non-opposable thumbs.
I find teeth annoying. I think they're the weirdest part of your body. And a lot of people aren't on board when I say this, but I can convince you. Weirdest part of your body. Any other part of your body, behave like your teeth, you'd think that was mad. Like, they're the only part of your body you get a practice go at. Is that not weird? You get some teeth, and then your body goes, right, you know what you're doing then? Right, get rid of those ones. Here comes your proper ones. You've got to force them through your body one by one.
Because I'm a 6'1" woman. Just people looking at me now like, she's gorgeous. Do you reckon she's got a broad back and speaks fluent German? Jawohl. Supermodel. Yes! I think a broad back's amazing on a woman because I can carry things. I can carry a relationship on this bad boy if only you'd let me.
Still no baby, still no pregnancy. We've actually done the fertility test. I don't know if anyone here's ever done fertility tests for women. They're quite expensive and invasive, but for dudes, pretty sick. Honestly, probably my favourite ever test. Because our test is we have to jizz in a cup. That's the test. Sorry, I said that wrong. We get to jizz in a cup. It felt like permission, you know? When my doctor was like, can you jizz in this cup? I was like, fucking oath, mate, let's go. Honestly, don't even worry about the Medicare rebate on this one. I'm happy for you to keep 100% of the cum, right? It's all yours. Run the test twice, knock yourself out.
Oh my God, did everybody see the fog outside? Oh my God, this is so foggy out there. I don't understand fog. I was doing a gig in Belfast recently and I had to get a flight back and I was sitting in the airport and I was looking at that TV screen in the airport that has the list of the flight information on it and the whole screen went blank and it was like, your flight has been indefinitely delayed due to fog, but I don't know anything about fog, so I had to Google it, you know. It's like, how long does it take the fog to lift? It's just a website about dealing with depression. Oh. I don't know how long you've spent in Belfast City Airport's departure lounge, but it came in handy. Very depressing. Oh my God.
Stand-up is so hard. That's another thing you're not supposed to admit, but it's just so dealing with the energy in the room, try and draw some people and push back others. It's very difficult. I'm being quite impressive, and I wish you'd. I wish you'd acknowledge it.
I said I've been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they live underwater. Yeah, come on. And your great-great-great-granddaughter, come on. It's pretty fine. It's pretty fine. Now that to me is the most depressing song I've heard in my whole life. To recap, that's a song about someone from the year 2002 going to the year 3000 to have sex with your great-great-great-great-granddaughter. Yeah? Number one, you go year 3000 and everything's underwater. Maybe the rest of the song should be about climate change.
I live in London now. Jeez, I had a great introduction to England because on the flight over to England was a hen party from a place called Essex in England. And these were not good people, you know. These women were so drunk, they didn't realise they were on a flight. You know, they were so drunk. At the start of the flight, I genuinely heard the pilot make an announcement over the loudspeaker, and one of them said, "The music's fucking shit in here. The music's shit change it, I don't like it. But she seems to like it. She's dancing, she seems to like it." It was the woman doing the fucking demonstration, right? She seems to like it, right? That's my impression of an Essex woman drunk, right? So I'm sitting across from three of these mad fuckers. They're sitting here, I'm sitting here, and one of their friends comes up to talk to them from another row. Just waddles up to talk to them. About fucking nothing, by the way. She just comes up, "All right, girls, what's it like down here?" "It's all right, what's it like down there?" "Same, really, same." And in that moment, as an Irish person, it was the first time I understood Brexit. You know, like, I was like, that's right, these are not Europeans, you know, like, these are not descendants of Da Vinci, for fuck's sake, you know? So, they're stupid. And so, next thing, your one was standing up, she's standing here, I'm sitting here, and she turned to me, and she did the most ignorant thing to me, but in the most beautiful way. She just turned to me and she just went, "Sorry, babe, do you mind if I just..." And she sat on top of me. Are you listening to what I fucking said? Now, I'm like most of ye. I'm from the south of Ireland, not the north. So this was my first experience of English oppression. You know, like if I'm honest, I could feel myself becoming a terrorist. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, we need to unite this country. 6 counties, I want them back. Like, I could feel a balaclava growing around my face, you know. Turned out just to be her back hair, but, oh, she was a hairy fucker, she was, yeah. But sure, you really think about it, that's exactly what England did to Ireland historically, isn't it? Exact same thing. They just drunkenly looked across the Irish Sea, and they just went, "Sorry, babe, do you mind if I just..." And they sat on top of Ireland for 800 fucking years, right? Then finally the War of Independence, we were like, "Get the fuck off us!" And they were like, we're going. But they didn't fucking go, did they? They just scooched up a bit, the bastards, right? Now that's a very clever geographical joke, so don't worry about it there. I could see the bewilderment. Yeah, they didn't fucking pay for these. I didn't pay to think, that's for sure, ain't you? Yeah, fucking idiot. I can kick you as well. I don't know. It's great being Dublin. Jeez, you meet some characters here as well, man. I was back here a couple of months ago, I was on Dublin bus, a beautiful transport vehicle, and stunning, you know. And I was on Dublin bus, and I went back down to the back of the bus, and there was this old lad down there, and he was drinking a can of Harp. Now, if you don't know Harp, it's that kind of like liquidized depression, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I would describe it. And I made the big mistake of making eye contact with him, right? And he just shook the can of Harp at me. He said, would you like a drop of Harp? And I said, fuck it, yeah, go on, you know. I was like, I'd forgotten my earphones, you know what I mean? I was like, this fucker can be today's podcast, you know? So anyway, I sat down beside him, and I immediately learned some very interesting things about him, right? Like, for one thing, this was not his first time drinking Harp. And I know that because he told me. He said, I've been drinking Harp for 30 years. Am I right or am I wrong? I was like, you fucking look right, you know? You look like you've been playing a harp with your face for the last 30 years, to be honest, you know? You do not look well, my friend, you know? And he said, yeah. He said, you're a good young fella. Am I right or am I wrong? I said, by God, he's right again, you know? I said, that's 2 out of 2. I started to think, has he ever been wrong, you know? And then next he said, listen, I have to tell you something. And this I was like, oh, Jesus, don't tell me he's my real father, you know? That'd be a nightmare, you know? I said, what is it, right? And he said, oi, I'm a member of the IRA. And I didn't know what to fucking say. So I just panicked and went, nice, right? And then he just goes, nice, yeah. But then that gave him like confidence. And he just said, would you maybe want to be a member of the IRA? And again, I was like, fuck it, yeah, go on. You know, like, I'm not doing nothing else today. Let's unite the fucking country, you know? And that was it. I was in the IRA, you know? And I have to say that being in the IRA, it felt very, very similar to not being in the IRA, you know? Almost identical, I would say, you know? But it was fucking exciting, though. Because it turned out, get this, that my first mission as a member of the IRA was to give this lad money for more cans of Harp. That was my first. He said, you're gonna donate to the cause. Am I right or am I wrong? I said, first one you've got wrong all day, you cunt. He's human after all, I said, you know.
I'm so heavy. And the reason that I don't necessarily look as extreme as that is because when I get fatter, when I gain weight evenly over my whole body at once. And which I know is not how you people do it. You all seem to get fat in one place at a time, and you have my sympathies, because you get fat, chin, then belly, then left bum cheek, then right bum cheek, whatever it is. It's not how I operate. When I get fat as evenly all over, imagine someone slowly just siphoning butter into a wetsuit. Just a sort of almost imperceptible increasing girth over time, over the whole form, till your shoes are tight. I got this way because I followed some advice, and it was very, very bad advice. And it's advice that mostly women get. But I thought, what's good for the goose, you know? I thought, I'll give this a go. It's lady advice, but I'll try it out for me. And the advice is, listen to your body. Which you must never, ever do. Your body is your second worst enemy after your mind. Your mind and your body want only what is worst for you in this world, and they are not to be trusted. And it's all very well, the kind of women who give out this advice, listen to your body. You see that on Instagram. It's a lady scratching the back of her head with her big toe in front of a sunset somewhere. And then in cursive it says, listen to your body. And you think, very well for you. When you listen to your body, it says things like, oh, salad is pudding. When I listen to my body, it says, why aren't you eating KFC? And I don't have a riposte. It's a good point. I go say, fair enough, when I go and I eat some. Because I don't have a counter-argument to that. I don't have a good reason. Also, when it speaks to me, it's like the voice from the One Ring, like Lord of the Rings. It's gotta eat some chicken. Do it. Is that normal? I hope so. Listen to your body is terrible advice. You wouldn't say that to a heroin addict, would you? What does your body want? Heroin, to be honest. I'm a heroin addict. Stupid fucking advice. Terrible advice. Trouble is, I use food as a reward. That's what I do. I'm an emotional eater and I reward myself with food. So I say to myself, for example, well, I've had a very good day. You know, I've got a lot done. I sent that email. Practically Bill Gates. I should reward myself with some sort of enormous takeaway meal. Or, it's been a pretty bad day. It's been a tough day. But I've survived. And why not celebrate that fact with some sort of enormous takeaway meal? Or if you had a normal day. Just a normal day, boring day. Not a lot's really happened. Why not spice things up? With some sort of enormous takeaway meal. Only those 3 types of day, though. One must have rules. You've got to have rules in this life. It's KFC, by the way, that's done a lot of this damage. When I was a young heavy boy...
I get angry when a system is broken or stupid or doesn't make sense. That's what pisses me off. And I don't direct it at anyone. You know, like when you're on a plane and the plane would land and then 10 minutes before they open the doors, everyone else on the plane stands up and just stands there putting their bags on and banging each other in the face like this. And you're just sat there in your seat, quite justifiably thinking, pack of twats! Just... perfectly reasonable common or garden anger, you know. Or if you're in the bank, there's 3 desks, 2 of them are open, a customer at each, 3 people in the queue in front of you. You're thinking, right, this will take no time at all. This will be fine. And you find yourself sort of hanging around, going, well, come on, no movement up ahead. A few more people join the queue. You're starting to rumble, going, oh, God, come on, this can't be how you're supposed to do. No, it's fine. And then a 3rd cashier turns up, you're thinking, thank goodness. They whisper something to the second one. Turns out what they've whispered is, it's getting busy, isn't it? Do you fancy a vape? And then they leave. 1 desk, 30 people now in the queue. And what saves me is that I'm so volatile, I just flip. I'm so emotional that all it takes, I'm got all this energy, oh, for God's sake. And all it takes is 1 person in the queue in front of me to actually have an audible meltdown, and I do an emotional 180. I'm there going, for God's sake. All it takes, 1 person to go, oh, for God's sake. Suddenly I flip. I'm like, hey, baby, relax. It's just the bank, man. It's just money. I mean, what is money? What are the guys behind the desks, man? They're us. They're us, aren't they? They're the same guys. They're the people. We're all the people. We're all made out of stars. What even is time? It's just a shared illusion. I don't normally do this under coloured fairy lights. It's kind of... Sure, baby, I'll leave the premises. Yeah, cool. They say when you become a parent, you recognise that you're no longer the picture, but the frame. That's a weird concept. You're not the picture anymore, you're the frame. Do you get what I mean by that? It's like you're no longer the star of the movie of your life. You're not even the camera crew. You're just catering. That's it. And I've got these 2 friends. I'm not showing off, at least 2. And I've known them 20 years. They're a married couple. They're both about 5 years older than me. And as long as I've known them, I've been secretly sort of, not quite copying their life, but I've been noticing the challenges they go through 5 years ahead of when I might, and trying to glean information from them. You know, they're like the canary in the coal mine, the dog in the space shuttle, they're the mouse on the unapproved antidepressants, right? I'm following them. What happens? You do that? You don't? Okay, fine. I realised very recently, my friend Tom, he's 5 years younger than me, and he's been doing the same thing to me and my life the whole time, right? They're ahead of me on the timeline, he's behind, he's copying me. There are people 5 years younger than him, copying him, they're doing it to people 5 years older than them, and all of us are just clinging grimly to this rope, like Shackleton through the Antarctic, howling advice to one another across the frozen tundra. What happens next? You're not gonna like it! And you're not gonna like it, are you? Because the people right at the end of the rope, they're just looking out over a crevasse. There's very little point in persevering! What's that? Something about persevering! Righto, we'll keep on persevering! And it's pointless trying to give each other advice because today's advice is meaningless tomorrow because the terrain shifts so fast. You're there in the middle thinking, what are you going to do for money when you get too old to work? That's easy. That's when the pension kicks in, right? Shit. Did you guys get a pension? We don't need one. We've got Bitcoin. Okay. Let me know how that works out. It's insane. It's like the advice we got given the first time we were pregnant. Yeah, we. Get over yourselves. People hate that. We were pregnant. Yeah, we got pregnant again because as it happens, apparently we couldn't keep it in my pants. The advice we got given the first time was very simple. It was always the same. Go and enjoy yourself. Go to the cinema. Go for meals out. Have fun while you can. The advice we're shouting down the line to Tom, 5 years younger than me, thinking about starting a family, the advice now is very different. The advice now is just, get money. That's the advice. Get money, and if you can, high ground. Because the one thing I was really unprepared for was the fact that I was going to become a breadwinner. For some reason, I hadn't given that any thought. I'm a breadwinner. I have to win bread. Very few places offer bread as a prize. Apparently, I've got to win it. The younger people in the room might be thinking, well, just buy the bread. You can't buy the bread, you idiots. You buy the bread, you take it back to the nest. They're like, they know. You did buy this, right? Did you buy it? You buy it. It tastes bought. No, I won it. Won it fair and square. Was it casino, was it? No, funny story. Bumped into a duck on the way home. Correctly guessed his secret name. Any other breadwinners in? Any breadwinners? No one. Just a bunch of you, bunch of bread losers. Great. But everything's now, people talk about the gig economy. It's so weird. My job is, I'm so free, right? Comedy, stand-up comedy is the ultimate 0 hours contract, right? If I want, I'm so free, I'm free as a bird. If I want to stop working, ever, I can just die. Oh, it's extraordinary. I don't want to paint my wife as some sort of grasping, bread-hungry churl. No, far from it. We get on. She's great. We have very different leadership styles, me and my wife. We're both natural leaders. I think that's quite unusual for a couple. We're two leaders. Most couples, a lot of couples, I think, is one leader, one follower. And if you're in a couple now and you're thinking, I wonder which one I am, I've got some bad news. Some couples, presumably, 2 followers, but we don't hear much from them because they don't get out. But a few couples, I think, a small percentage of couples, 2 leaders. Now, I don't like to ask at shows, are there any couples in where it's 2 leaders? Because one time in a gig, at the back of the room, a little voice went, yep, and then there was a pause, and another voice went, no, you're not. And it was... you don't want to do harm, you know. So, but I think me and my wife is true. We're 2 leaders. We've got different leadership styles. So I'm more like a loose maverick MacGyver. You know, I'm like a kind of rolling, adaptable kind of a leader, whereas my wife actually gets things done. So We have to separate. We have to divvy up the labour. You know, I'm in charge of mowing the lawn, packing the car, lifting things, and my wife is the architect of all of our futures. Don't look at me like that. I'm good at packing. I pull my weight. It's my I'm so good at packing. It's my dream one day to be going through a supermarket checkout, and when the lady says, "Do you need any help packing?" by the end of the sentence, she realises she's in a bag for life. I just moonwalk. I climb up on the conveyor belt and pretend to moonwalk out, just slowly like that. That would be the plan. The reason I'm giving you this insight into my marital dynamic is to explain why, at the age of 44, my wife is currently trying to organise a grown-up play date for me to go on with another man in order that I make a friend. I want to be absolutely clear about this. I'm not lonely, but I moved to Bristol. I moved to a foreign city at the same time as I became a dad. So I don't get the chance to meet other dads, right? They all socialise during the evening and work during the day. I have to socialise during the day because I work in the evening because of you. And so I don't get to see them. It's just not fair. My wife can walk up to any other mum and go, "Hey, we should get a coffee. Should we be friends?" Suddenly they're friends. Doesn't work like that for men, does it? Not the system at all. No, the system for male friendships is you've got the kids you knew at school, minus one who died, and that's it. And that's how it's always been. That's how it's supposed to be. So we met this guy. We met this one guy. Ollie was his name. We met him at at a toddler rave. That's a thing. 3 hours of banging techno on a Sunday afternoon. Load of haggard parents at the side of a church hall. 100 kids with their tops off, ripped to the tits on fruity pouches. I remember this one specifically because it was, there's always a costume theme, and this particular one was superheroes, right? And there was one particularly attractive younger mum had come dressed as Catwoman, and all of the other mums were like, "Oh, fuck off." It was just great. We met Ollie. Our kid was playing with his kid, and then eventually we chatted for 5 minutes, and then his kid ran off, Ollie followed him, and that was that. And then ever since then, my wife has been stalking him on Instagram in order to pimp him to me as a potential friend. Right? So I'll be washing up, and she'll sidle up to him and be like, "Have you seen Ollie's into martial arts and board games? And you like board games and talking about martial arts?" And suddenly it's put me in the position I'm like a kid on my first day at nursery going, "I don't want to go," like that. Because I don't know how to package myself as a potential friend for a grown man. I just don't know how to do it. I've written and then deleted an introductory text to him, God knows how many times. Hello, mate. Hey, friendo. Ew, who am I? I don't even talk with the friends in my life that I love. My mate, my best mate, Noel, right? We've known each other since we were 11. We've travelled the world together. I love the bones of him, right? And I will see him for a cheeky pint once in a blue moon. It's a running joke in our household. I'll come home and my wife will go, "How's Noel?" And I literally won't understand the question. How is he? How is he? How is Noel? He is simply Noel. Immutable, unchanging. He reminds me of me, I remind him of him. That's why we hang out with each other. I can tell you what he thought of the movie The Suicide Squad. Is that what you mean? Is that how he is? And then she'll say something weird like, "But hasn't his mum been ill?" I don't know. How do you know that? Stop asking my friends questions, you weirdo. Because we don't speak with each other, we just talk at each other. We sit and conversationally groom one another like a pair of orangutans on a log in Borneo, picking fleas out of each other's fleece. "Did you like the film?" "Yeah, yes, I did like it. You were like me." "Yes, I am. Yeah. Did you enjoy Black Mirror the other day?" "Yes, I didn't like it to begin with, but then I did like it by the end. Yes, I'm the same. Yeah." And tell me, are you playing that the Red Dead Redemption game on the PlayStation? "No, I've had to stop playing that. It's a little bit too immersive." "Yes, I'm the same." talked about this at a show in Bristol. A stranger tweeted me the following day, Stu, I really enjoyed the stuff about the grown-up play date. Just so you know, my friend Clive lives in Bristol and he's free during... That's not what this is! This is not some sort of pathetic, platonic pickup line. I'm not coming out here going, hello, men. I am very lonely and I wish to play Settlers of Catan. It's not that.
Got dyspraxia, for those of you trying to diagnose me. I can feel it. Oh, is it autism? No, it's fucking not, thank you. Not that there's anything wrong with that, just to be clear. It's just they am making eye contact, they're just far fucking back. Dyspraxia, if you don't know, it's a condition, right? It affects like my spatial awareness, my coordination. It's tough over the pandemic, very hard to social distance when you're dyspraxic. Do you know what I fucking mean, lad? Thanks for coming, man. Thank you very much. It is, man. Like, how did anyone judge 2 meters? How were you doing that? How do you... I just use my knob. No one comes near me when it's out. It's tiny. I went to a specialist school for kids with tiny knobs. It was just me and a load of cherubs. We all had little mini ones, even the teachers, which did make us feel better, but really they shouldn't have been showing us. No, I went to a specialist school. It was called the University of Salford. No, I went to a high school, right? Specialist high school for kids with dyspraxia or dyslexia. It was called a Hume Hall. We got any fellow Hume Hallers in, by any chance? Give me a... No Hume Hallers in now? Of course not, all outside shouting at pigeons. That's my bread! When I was 11, I had to go for like an interview at Hume Hall, see if I was appropriate. And I was nervous, but I turned up, they took one look at me, they said, "You're fucking perfect, lad." That is exactly what we're fucking after. Getting in now. Keith, come and have a look at this. We found the one. He's fucking perfect. You're not gonna believe it, mate. He looks just like your drawing. Get him on the front of the prospectus. This place is amazing. They give you beans. It was a good school, though. It was a good school. It was. We had our own dance troupe. Yeah, they were called Neurodiversity. They were bad. They were not good dancers. That was just us walking, like we weren't cut out for it, man. I always liked performing, though. As a kid, all I wanted to do was this. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. But you can't do stand-up when you're a kid. I did the next best thing. I was a magician. a dyspraxic magician. Slow of hand. My shows, they were a roller coaster. You'd watch me pull a rabbit out of a hat, you'd be like, wow, he's done it. And then I'd accidentally break the rabbit's neck, and there's only so many you can bury before you begin to blame yourself. It's very, very sad. It's hard to know what job you're going to do when you're dyspraxic. As a kid, I remember that advert. Do you remember that advert? You know the... You! Could be a Royal Marine! Do you remember that? You remember that? You know that? You! Could be a Royal Marine! You remember that? I remember watching that like, oh wow, could I now? Oh yeah, you reckon? I could be a Royal Marine, fucking this! I was buzzing, I couldn't believe it. I was like, Mummy, I'm going to war! I hope they serve bees. I don't think the Royal Marines want dyspraxics. But you don't hear that in the adverts, do you? If you can drop a phone, you can drop a bomb. I don't think I'm what they're after. I don't think I'm cut out for war. I feel like no matter how hard I tried, I'd end up doing the wrong thing. You know, like, if I was one of the 9/11 hijackers, I'd end up landing the plane. Sorry, lads, I could not do that again if I tried. How did I do that? That was pretty impressive though, wasn't it? Jesus Christ! All the American passengers are clapping. I wish I knew how to clap. I don't know. They worked out to get gay men in the army though. Remember that? Don't ask, don't tell. We won't ask you if you're gay. You don't tell us if you are. Sorted. That doesn't quite work with dyspraxics, does it? Imagine, I'm there, licking a landmine. Like, Tiernan, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm not allowed to say. But I'd get back if I was you. I'm interested in the army, though. I find it fascinating. I found out about this thing called stolen valour. Stolen valour, it's basically where someone pretends they've served in the army and they haven't really. Like, they'll go around wearing, like, fake medals or military garments, and then someone who was in the army sees them and they can tell that they're not the real deal. So they start filming them and asking them questions, trying to catch them out. And, like, they get so angry in these videos. I always think they're overreacting. At the end of the day, it's just someone wearing your old work uniform. I used to work at KFC. I saw a guy on the train wearing a KFC cap. I didn't go and confront him. You all right, mate? Nice cap. Really nice suit, you. Which branch did you serve at? Name all 11 secret herbs and spices. Name them! You're a fraud! I'm calling the colonel. I didn't do that. What's your name, little fella? Callum? Are you little, or is that just the energy you give off? How tall are you?
5'10".
You scrawny little bastard. Same height as me. Do you like baked beans?
You don't mind them, yeah.
You don't mind them. Next time you eat baked beans, you're going to think of me. You are. outside, banging on the window. Give me some beans, Cali boy! Insurance. Nice, man. Last job before comedy, I worked in a primary school. I was a lunchtime supervisor. I'm not making this up. I was a fucking dinner lady. It was heartbreaking. I wanted to be a Royal Marine. And there was a dinner lady. I was 25. 25. That's like 11. In dinner lady years. It was a big step up for me, that job. It was a huge step because before that job I worked at KFC. Let me tell you now, supervising a child, very different to supervising a chicken burger. It is. You mess a child up, you can't just hide it and eat it on your break. You can't. You can't get away with it anymore. You can't. Ofsted don't like it when you do that. It was weird going for a job interview during the pandemic. The woman interviewing me, she was like, I won't be doing handshakes. So I hugged her. Give me the fucking job. And got the fucking job, mate. I did what it took. Straight in. Her name was Maggie, right? Maggie was the head dinner lady. And she was fucking terrifying. Maggie should have been in the Royal Marines. Nothing would get past this woman. Once we were clearing up the canteen, all the kids are playing outside. They finished their lunch. Maggie finds a full sandwich hidden underneath one of the tables. What would you have done, Callum? Have you been listening? Hello? You've been thinking about your bit, haven't you? Should have lied about my height. Fuck! Will he really break into my garden? Yes, I fucking will! Full sandwich hidden underneath one of the tables. All the kids are playing outside. What would you have done, Callum? Eat the sandwich. Eating it? What the fuck? A child's lunch. You're like the opposite of Marcus Rashford. Maggie starts looking for clues, right? She picks the sandwich up and she sniffs it. That's gluten-free bread. Dylan Lewis, year 6. Bring him in. I'm stood there like, what the fuck is going on? Maggie's about to waterboard an 11-year-old celiac. What is happening? This is crazy.
Yeah, because everyone here had the privilege of eating a kebab whilst completely shit-faced. It's insane, isn't it? Like, it's biblical. The way the food melts inside your mouth like the inside of a Lindt chocolate ball. Like, what is that? Also, I know it's a comedy show, I don't want to get too scientific, but when you eat when you're drunk, the calories don't count. It's like eating on a train, it's not technically a meal. Smart, smart, smart. The thing is, I've got this cute thing I do, it's so adorable. When I'm drunk and emotional, I can now eat 2 kebabs in the space of time it takes the average human to eat half a kebab. What? Where do you put it? It's just a metabolism thing. Like, look at my wrist. Thing is, I found out in a horrible way. How bullshit is this? If you go into a kebab shop by yourself late at night, crying with a tit hanging out and order 2 kebabs, they're like, 2 kebabs, where's your friends? What the fuck? I want food, not shame! Luckily, I've got smart about it. I'll tell you what I do, very simple. What you want to do is go to one kebab shop. Order 1 kebab. And then you eat it on the way to the second kebab shop. It's late at night. There's people in the second kebab shop. You don't want to get caught out. That'll be embarrassing. Wipe yourself down for crumbs. I like to use my training at the Helen Bauer School of Drama to take on the role of woman who has never heard of a kebab before in her life. And you go in the second shop like... What is this place? Sorry, I usually don't come here. I love salad. This is so mad for me. Is it table service? I don't know. Who is Donna? So cute! Show. It's only because I'm always so paranoid whatever I'm doing that everyone's watching me and judging me. You know that feeling, particularly when I'm eating, everyone's looking at me like, oh, why is she eating that? I cannot get over it. I think it's because whatever I do in my life, I'm always like, this has got to be a scene. Surely I'm on, you know? We should be filming this. I just watched way too much reality TV show and grew up in a drama school, and I think it really does a number on your head. Have you guys seen the film The Truman Show? Yeah, it's a good film, right? I feel like most people watch The Truman Show and go, Jim Carrey, a comedic genius as well as a great dramatic actor. I watched it and I was like, oh, that is such a good idea for a TV show. It's amazing, it's such a good idea. Someone must have made it. Someone would have made it. It's so good. But if they'd have made it, I would know about it. Because I watch all those shows. So if it's been made, and I don't know about it, Truman has to be me. And what is so frightening about saying that, and most of you going, really quiet, is it just makes me so much more paranoid that you're all actors and you think the scene's gone wrong. Like I figured it out live on stage in front of you. What are you gonna do? Like I just think about it. How would I know? How would I know? My first day in life would be my first day on set. My entire life, everyone would be acting around me. And like any baby in any long-running TV show, like EastEnders or Coronation Street, that baby is cast because they are cute. It's around 6 years old, the director looks at that kid and goes, cute kid, can't act. Better replace him. Can't replace me. I'm being Truman'd. Or Bowered. Need to get me some acting lessons. Easiest way to do that, start the Helen Bauer School of Drama in my house. This is the brain I live with! And most people think it would be a nightmare being filmed 24/7. A nightmare? Come on, I would love it. I wouldn't know the cameras were there, they'd capture my full range. They'd finally be able to capture a side of me that I could never show people. Like, I don't know, my vulnerable side. Like, I can't even say it. That is how afraid I am of being vulnerable. I just think I need to be tricked into being vulnerable. I need to be tricked into it. My whole life I've just wanted one of those moments where people look at me and they go, oh my God, what's going on with her? Do you think she's okay? Because no one ever asks randomly, and I'm always doing a show, so no one ever thinks that I'm not okay. No one asks when you're a child because they can't figure it out, but no one asks when you're an adult because they assume you can tell them, because they assume that you are able to communicate. I can't. I just have to hope people figure it out. I think we all know this feeling from school. Like at school, my dream at school was, you know that moment when you're sitting in the classroom, teacher at the front, and the receptionist comes in with a note. for one of the students. And we know this note. It's usually that someone's forgotten their school lunch money or like forgot their PE kit. But every now and again, this note was something more. And whenever this receptionist came in, I was just like, oh, is it death? Is it for me? Just so excited at the prospect of being told something awful in front of people. Want to hear something ridiculous? All 4 of my grandparents died when I was at school. My parents told me when I got home. No one sent a note. What a waste! Could have been a beautiful scene. I mean, how much drama did I want in my life? Like, seriously. I was raised inside of a drama school. I did drama GCSE. I was surrounded by drama and it was never enough. Of course it was never enough. I mean, look at me. I'm a white middle-class woman from a white middle-class town. There was no drama. We created our own. Our only currency growing up was imagined emotional trauma. And my God, did we love it. When I was 13, our 2 drama teachers at my school did something amazing. They decided that everyone in my year had to write and perform a monologue to the rest of their class, which is a terrifying exercise. And we could do anything we wanted. Like, it could be comedic, silly, slapstick even. But my God, we went dark. And we went dark hard. The boys, they were okay at it. Like, they were okay. Like, every boy in my year pretended to be a drug addict on the back of a motorcycle, which was just like a classroom chair they turned around and they were like, oh my God, I'm just so addicted to smack. And it's like, okay, George, your mum shops at Waitrose, you're fine. The girls, so much worse. We'd read Jacqueline Wilson. We knew what we were doing. One girl in my year, incredible, age 13, wrote and performed a monologue pretending to be a wife who had just murdered her ex-husband, wiping the blood off her hands. Another girl, age 13, wrote and performed a monologue pretending to be an evacuee child, lost at a station during World War II. Amazing. My friend, age 12, wrote and performed a monologue pretending to be a 6-year-old, writing a letter to her daddy, who had just died in 9/11. Her dad worked in the Domino's in town. We saw him all the time. He'd never been to America. You know what she got? Full marks. Now, there was one thing all my classmates' monologues had in common. They were dramatic, sure. But you knew they weren't true. Because they were set in a different time zone or they were playing a different age. And I cannot make this clear enough that my monologue was not true. But my God, did I try and make it plausible. Because I wrote a monologue, written by me, directed by the Helen Bauer School of Drama at home. She had to be involved, she had to. About a 13-year-old girl who was being sexually abused by her dad. I wore my own pajamas that I ripped myself at the crotch for extra marks. I got an A. The message of the show, my dad has never hugged me, let alone fucked me.
Fuck, man. I really struggled during lockdown, man. I fucking went crazy. I peed myself one night. Yeah, peed myself. I was up late at night. I was watching a Netflix documentary, not the Magic Mushroom one. It was another one. Has anybody seen this? It's called My Octopus Teacher. Have you seen this? Did you like it? You're shaking your head. No, you did? What did you like about it?
It's quite short.
It's quite short. Yeah. Is that why you like me? If you haven't, this guy likes it. If you haven't seen it, it's a documentary about this guy who's shagging an octopus, right? They never show you him shagging it, and he never says he's shagging it, but you can tell. You know, he's always like, it's about this guy who like goes to see this octopus every day of his life, and it's like changed his life. He's like, every day I go down to the coral reef and I see the octopus, and he brushes my nipple with his beak, and he puts his tentacle in my belly button. Yeah, like he's 100% shagging that thing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know? Do you know what made me dislike him though? There's a bit in it where they're interviewing him and he goes, before I met the octopus, I had nothing in my life. But then, now I see the octopus every day and I know who I am. And then it cuts to like an interview with that guy's wife and child. And they're like, we can fucking hear you through the wall. What the fuck? You know, but I don't fucking know what it means, man. Sometimes it's a silly thing that gives your life meaning, you know. I know my octopus was stand-up, man. I was 18 years old in Magaluf. Nobody wanted to even look at me. Never mind touch me, you know. And then I came home and I went to uni and then I fucking dropped out because I went mental. I didn't know who I fucking was, man. But then last month of being 19, I signed up for a stand-up thing in Glasgow called Red Raw. It's like a beginner's comedy night at the Stand Comedy Club. And I went up, you only get 5 minutes in front of 200 people, and you go up, and I went up, and I only lasted 3 minutes, and then I ran out of jokes. Do you want to hear one of my first ever closer? Yeah, it's not good. You know, I went up there and I was like, imagine me, 19, right? Just somehow even more like a fetus. And I was up there and I was like, oh, I really don't like being alive just now, because nothing's changed. You know, the issue I have is I find it very difficult to grow hair on my face, you know. I'd really like to have a mustache or a beard, but I don't have one, you know. And it really frustrates me because I have a very hairy arse. You know, I mean, I can't grow anything up here, but down here it looks like I've sat in a vat of wallpaper glue and got a rim job off Chewbacca. Pretty good for a first joke. Yeah. And honestly, I still can't grow a beard, and the arse is worse. So I went up, 3 minutes, came off early, host was raging, he had to like fucking run back up, you know, and then I was like, oh, I felt amazing to do that, man, you know, and I went down to the Kelvin Bridge subway station next to the Stand Comedy Club, and I was just standing there on the platform, and I was just like buzzing, felt alive for the first time in my life, man. I was like, this is amazing, you know, and then this girl came up to me, and she was like, you were really funny, and I was like, I'm gonna do this every day for the rest of my life. And then I did! For like 7 years, like every chance I could get. I went to Canada to do stand-up, that's how I found out about the goof thing. I went to Australia, that's how I got together with my girlfriend. Like, it completely changed my life. And then lockdown came, couldn't do stand-up anymore. So I thought I was happy. I didn't like myself, I just liked my job, you know? And it was illegal to do stand-up during lockdown. It was illegal to do stand-up in lockdown. Indoors. You could do some outdoor shows. They were hard. Did anybody go to a drive-in comedy show? No. Nobody went. They fucking sucked. That's the thing I like about stand-up is like, I'm a person, you're a person, like we're sharing a wee moment together, it's nice. Like, we shared a moment, you like that documentary about the guy who's shagging an octopus, you know? Like, you're from Brisbane, you know, we're all just sharing a wee moment together, do you know what I mean? It's like a snowflake that's fell out of the cloud and landed on your tongue and it just melts forever, you know, unless you capture it on film. lot of times you don't. You know? See when you're doing stand-up and there's no people there. It's just cars. Felt like I was doing a private show for Lightning McQueen's stag do. It was so impersonal, man. You know, it was just headlights coming back at me. I tried to make it more personal. I was like, oh, give me a honk if you've ever had mental health problems. Just one guy in a Citroen Berlingo, like, honk, honk. Wasn't even an audience member, just an Uber driver who got lost. You know, I was fucking... And I went home after the drive-in show, went to my bedroom, watched the documentary, fucking pissed myself. I remember, you ever done this? You ever disassociated? I floated above myself on the couch and I looked down, I saw me watching the guy with the octopus, and I looked down at myself and I saw this big damp patch. And I was like, what the fuck's happened there? And I like went, like Doctor Strange, just like back in my body. And I like touched it and it was warm. I was like, oh, it's pee. And I smelled it. I was like, it's pee, it's pee, it's pee. I was like, what am I going to do? And I was up late at night. Basically, me and my girlfriend, my Australian girlfriend, we were taking life in shifts. She was waking up at 7, working from home 8 to 5. I was waking up at 4 p.m, staying up till 6 in the morning. You know, it wasn't good. And she was asleep to get up for work in the morning, and it was like 3, 4 in the morning. I was pissed. And I went through to my bedroom, and I was just digging around in my dirty washing trying to find just a clean pair of clothes, but I hadn't done the washing in like 6 weeks because couldn't bring myself. What's the fucking point? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. You know what I mean? I was just like, fucking hell, man. My girlfriend woke up and she was like, oh! You know, because she's a parrot. You know, she just woke up and she went, oh, what's going on? I was like, I've peed myself. She was like, oh no. She went back to sleep, man, you know. I was like, I didn't know what to do, you know, and it's hard because there's a big waiting list to speak to people, you know, but I was like, fuck it, man, you know, that's what they say, just talk to someone. That's what they say, just talk to someone. I think they should change that to talk to the right person. Don't just talk to anybody. Some people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I have these pals, right, and they're like keto people. They're like the gut-mind connection, you know. They're always talking about like don't eat bread. I said to my pals, like, I'm really fucking depressed. And he was like, have you tried cutting bread out your diet? I was like, I don't think that's going to help the fact I don't love myself. And bread's the only thing fucking keeping me going, you know. I ended up talking to my mum about it. Jesus Christ, man, she doesn't know me, you know. It's my mum. You know, she brought it up. Basically, when you could go around to your mum and dad's again, I went around with my girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend went to my mum and dad's house. My girlfriend and my dad stayed in the house. Me and my mum went to go pick up some Chinese food from a place in Bailson Main Street called Tiger Lee. If you're ever in the area, phenomenal salt and chili chicken balls. And we were driving there, and I was in the passenger seat, and my mum was in the driver's seat. She was driving, and she went, listen, I've been speaking to people in my work, and they say that apparently now you need to talk to your kids about mental health, and I don't know anything about that because I grew up in the 70s, and we don't talk about stuff like that. But, you know, your girlfriend told me that you peed yourself. And then I told everybody in my work that you peed yourself. And they think I should talk to you about it. I was like, okay, Mum, a lot of what you said makes me quite upset there, but yeah, you know, I'm not doing too good with the old mental health. I just don't know who I am. You know, I've lost my job. And she was like, well, I know where you're coming from. And I was like, how would you know what I'm talking about? You work for the taxis. You know, she works for the Glasgow taxis on the phones. And then I remembered, oh, my mum would know what I'm talking about. My mum was a hairdresser. That's how she met my dad. But then one day, in the early 90s, just before I was born, my mum woke up one day and she was allergic to bleach. So she just couldn't be a hairdresser anymore because it was the 90s and everybody was getting, you know, highlights, you know? Like what do you do, Australian guy? What's your job?
I have a pub.
You have a pub? imagine you woke up one day and you were allergic to drunk cunts, you know? Oh, you are? Fuck, man. You know, it would be tragic, wouldn't it? And it was tragic. And I was like, well, how did you deal with it? She was like, you just got to move on with your life and you got to find things to love about yourself that isn't your work, you know? And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking beautiful, man, you know? And I thought, okay, I've had a lovely chat with my mum about this. Ended up speaking to my dad, man, you know, and he's a hairdressing goth biker, you know? And I had to have a chat with him. He's old school, man. He's an old school guy. And I was really scared my dad was going to die during COVID. I was really scared. Because he's not exactly the best breather in town. You know? He's a wheezy guy. Like, do you know the penguin for Toy Story 2? He's like a wee wheezy guy up on the shelf and he's like that's what my dad's like. He's asthmatic. Is that right? How would you say asthmatic? Just asthmatic sounds like a fake arse. Got the asthmatic if you want to try it. Like, just no. My dad's asthmatic, right? And it's even worse than that. A couple of years ago, he had pleurisy. You know, that's how old-fashioned he is. All his diseases are Victorian. You know? He had pleurisy, which is this weird illness where your lungs fill up with liquid, right? And he drained them, but the drainage left scarring. So he's like, you know, he's a terrible breather. And then who shows up in town? Fucking Johnny Coronavirus. The disease that kills cunts that can't breathe, right? I'm like, my dad's a fucking goner, man, you know? And then one of my friends' dads died just before COVID, and he said to me, do you know, one of my biggest regrets is I never told my dad I loved him enough. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to be the fucking difference here, all right? I'm going to break the chain of male suffering. I'm going to tell my dad I love him. So I went round my mum and dad's house again, another Chinese. That's pretty much all we do. And I showed up at the house. My mum went, you better go see your dad because he's in a bit of a bad mood. And I was like, fucking hell, man. This must be bad, because he's always in a bad mood. And I went through to the room. He was sitting there in a dressing gown, or a house coat, depending on what you call it. He was sitting there in his dressing gown, and he was watching Stargate SG-1. And I knew something was up, because that's his happy place, you know. He was sitting with his arms folded. I was like, what's up with you? And he was like, I've been a hairdresser for 30 years and now I can't even go to my work because of this fucking pandemic. I was like, for fuck's sake. He was one of the guys who refused to wear a mask, like a proper mask, so he would wear like a visor. It's like, you're not fucking welding, you know? The disease isn't sparks. And I don't think enough fuss was made about this. Why was nobody talking about the hairdryer during COVID? That thing was shooting hot air. It's like a ray gun. It's like a sci-fi hot disease gun. You know, I was worried about him, man, you know, and he was like, I'm fucking been a hairdresser for 30 years, now I can't even fucking do it. I don't know who I am anymore. And I was like, I'm in the exact same fucking boat. We had a great chat about it. And then I was like, I've softened him up, you know, a couple of body blows. Working the kidneys. You only have one kidney, but softening him up, man. Now I'm going to fucking tell him I love him. So after the Chinese, we were watching like Master Chef or something, and he was like, I fucking hate that bald guy in this. I was like, okay, he's feeling better. You know, and then I went to leave, and me and my girlfriend were leaving. Went up to my mum, gave her a cuddle, kissed on the cheek, went, love you, mum. And she went, love you. I went, all right. Went up to my dad. I didn't give him a cuddle. Gave him a hug. It's very different. Cuddle's more like, you know, whereas this is more like diagonal. A hug's that's like a sash, you know, for a beauty queen, not the Orajada, right? A mayoral sash. I gave him that, and I didn't kiss him in the fucking cheek, right? I leaned into him, and I went, love you. And he just fucking shook like a wee bus. He went, hit me with a big and I was like, oh my god, that is just as good as an I love you, you know? Because I knew what he meant by that. He was vibrating so hard I could telepathically understand him, you know? He was like, you don't need to tell me you love me. I know you love me. I don't need to tell you I love you. What we do is, once you leave, I tell your mum I'm proud of you, and then she tells you, all right?